Hey, what's going on, guys? Mark Luckenball with Local Client Takeover here. And recently, I don't even want to say recently, since we opened the group, I see a lot of people having issues with client acquisition. A lot of people cold call with lackluster, very little to no results. There's a lot of people that email spam. They do like auto dialing spam. There's tons of different ways people spam people, and it's considered spam when it's just blatantly, SEO con style, where you message someone and say, "Hey, I need a job," or "I want some work," or people don't respond well to that. But it's a proven concept if you follow anyone like Grant Cardone or tons of people like that who do outreach, and especially cold outreach, with massive amounts of success. And I mean, for someone like old GC there, I mean, we can look at like, easily 7 to 9 figures worth of success off of some of the stuff he's done, some of the companies he helped. So outreach is an amazing, sustainable, and scalable tool to use. It's a great vehicle to use, but a lot of people don't do it right. So this little mini module here, I'm going to try to be as brief as possible, but it's basically outreach done right. Okay, and this is just one system you can use to have greater success with any type of outreach you do. Okay, what a lot of people miss is that people require 6 to 12 interactions before they're ready to make a purchasing decision. I'm sure a bunch of you might have seen the meme that gets passed around that says that, you can close people on the first call. It's been done plenty of times, it can happen. It's just when you have the tonality that's needed to close someone on the first call, you're going to get 100 or 1,000 hangups before you get to the person that's receptive enough to that tonality to make the purchasing decision, if that makes sense. If you have a more conversational approach, a less salesy, a more consultative, helpful, genuinely helpful approach, you're going to get a lot more people to hear. You're going to get a lot more people into your pipeline with this outreach. Okay, so keep that in mind when you start making contact with people. If you cold call someone and they don't buy, or you send them an email or a piece of lump email or a singing telegram, it doesn't matter. If they don't buy the first time, it's perfectly normal. Statistically, it can take 6 to 12, which is why like retargeting does so well, and stuff like that. So moving forward, first things first, before you pick up a phone, before you open up an email application, before you start writing copy to get a lump email letter put out, we need to establish a funnel. Okay? And I don't necessarily mean a funnel like a Ryan Dice, digital marketer funnel, where there's these 30 modules on this piece of paper, and you're, using the using the one-click upsell everywhere, and downsells and cross-sells, and then a cross-promotion at the end for an affiliate cut. Nothing like that. I just mean a process of what happens when someone says yes, or since we're not selling on the first call, what steps do we want them to take? And I'll give you a few examples coming up, but, this is for you. You have to customize this to fit your business model and to fit your goals. So, this could be something like a consultation. So initially, you're just genuinely helping someone. Okay, you send out, hey, we found these problems with your site, this, and this. You send a little video in the email, outlining them, very personalized, very informal. I don't want to even, informal is not the right word. It's not a super hard sale. It's not saying, hey, we can deliver these results, call us now and get your credit card out. It's, something genuinely helpful, a genuine consultative positioning, and then it might lead into, hey, you don't want to give them free leads. You don't want to set it up like that. Then everyone will take a free something. You can give them some introductory leads where you might charge, 97 bucks, and you'll give them 5 leads or something. Just something they can't say no to. Or maybe you do send some free leads. It's all how you want to position it. It's all how you want to qualify it. What step of the qualification process are you? If you cold call someone and the first time you ever speak with them, you say, hey, I want to send you 5 free leads. Are you interested? 9 times out of 10, if you're not taking a credit card on the spot, or you're not making them really commit to anything, a lot of people are going to say yes. And how well qualified did you make them? Are they even going to have the budget to start buying leads from you after the 5 free ones, have been passed over? And then it's something like closing the sale. So you help them out, you earn goodwill, you earn goodwill, you earn their trust, you give them some leads. They like the leads, or they don't like the leads, you send them some more. They love the leads, you close the sale. Okay, it doesn't matter how the funnel looks like. You just need to have um, what steps are inside of your pipeline. What steps do they take if they're interested? And what steps do you take when you reach out? Okay, because if you just reach out and say, hey, hire me or pay me, you're gonna get a terrible response, and it's just not the best way to do business. It's better spent, that persistence and that energy is better spent on an intelligent model. Okay, so that's what you need to do with your funnel. And you can do something a lot more complex, maybe a friendly convo to start on a niche forum or on their social media channel. Just something friendly, just introducing, not the LinkedIn introductions you see all the time either, where it's, hi, my name's this, and it's really great to connect with you, and I want you to click this link and go interact with my brand. Okay, I mean, it can work. It can work great, but I'm talking something just completely friendly. Hi, and talk more about them instead of yourself. That's a huge mistake people make when they do cold outreach. All they talk about, me. This is what we do. This is what we do. This is what we can accomplish, and the best thing you can possibly do is to talk to them directly about something they love, which should be their business, or something they're passionate about, something they're knowledgeable about. Stroke the ego a little. Hey, I see you guys do that. That's really impressive. Or I see you accomplish this goal or won this award, or you were featured in this magazine or news article. Things like that are going to incite conversation. It's friendly. Like I said, it's conversational rather than a bunch of sales hype or you saying, "Hi, great to connect. Look what I did. Look what we do. Look what we can do." That type of tone setting, you're setting the wrong tone with that type of approach, And then you say, "Hey," once you have that friendly convo, the guard starts to come down. You have to approach every potential outreach like a boxer. At first they're like Mayweather. Their guards up there. You're not getting through on them. They're gonna run from you before they let you land a punch. Get their guard down. Start with a friendly convo and then do some genuine help and consultation. Like, hey, I noticed you guys are, lacking some stuff on your site, and maybe you'd want to fix this. Give them some helpful advice. Keep it super informal. Then, see how receptive they are to it. Throw together a quick video helping them with some more stuff on their site. Send them the link. Wow, thanks so much. Hey, it's no problem. I do this all the time. I generate leads for businesses, and this is how I make the site perform better, or whatever advice you gave them. Hey, by the way, I can drum up leads for your industry, or I can make your phone ring, whatever. Do you want to feel, sure, bang. You start moving towards the sale, but you build the goodwill first. So it's important when you make this funnel, you're not as much making a funnel as what process they're going to take in your pipeline, but what actions you're going to take to ensure they even get into the bottom part of your pipeline where a sale can start to happen. Okay, so keep that in mind when building it. Think, what can you offer, and it doesn't necessarily even have to be free leads, or super discounted leads. It could be a site audit, a really nice, well put together site audit. We've had we've had great luck with that. About almost 2 years ago, that was a big thing for us. That's what we did. It was before some of these other auditing tools were quite so impressive. When we had a whale client on the line, we actually used to put together hand reports, and they were thorough. They were just huge. They were fantastic. People ate them up. So even something like that, you're gonna get a better response when you take that type of approach. So, and something that kind of it builds right into how you're going to contact them is building a persona for your prospects. You have to know your prospect. How do they speak? How do they move? What services do they perform? There's a ton of stuff we want to find out. We want to talk about pain points, profit margins, networks they're a part of, what language they speak, what they're passionate about, what platforms they frequent. This stuff's huge. if you guys ever checked out any of my marketing research videos, you should be doing your marketing research first and foremost. And, this kind of ties into what type of people you're going after. Okay, you shouldn't just be building a list of thousands of businesses and just cold calling all of them. Pick a niche, pick an area, pick something where everyone you're contacting you can build templates for of how you're going to speak to them, what things you can say that's going to resonate with their thought processes. Things like that are going to make your outreach so much easier. You're going to get such a better result. Imagine if you were pitching a roofer cold. You could say, "Hey, I can get you more calls." That's a typical pitch from a digital marketer these days. I can get you more calls. But then what happens when the gears start turning in their head, and because automatically people are going to look for problems with what you have. It's just how consumers are. They're going to look for they're going to develop a pain point immediately and say, well, what if a bunch of them are repairs? Or what if a bunch of them, a lot of them in their area require asbestos removal first? Or there's tons of pain points, and that's something to consider. So instead of saying, hey, I can get you a bunch of calls, which can lead to, well, what if they're this, what if they're that? You just completely eliminate that if you take a little time and say, hey, well, rubber roofing applications are a lot higher dollar. A lot of roofers even prefer them because it's usually a lot easier to do. It's less strenuous labor. The price point's higher. So, in that case, you say, hey, what if we can do some advanced targeting, and I can get you 5 really good rubber roof leads a month, or I can get you a great rubber roof lead each week, or something along those lines, where you're speaking more directly to them, that you're speaking their language, they understand what you're talking about. You're talking about a service that has a higher profit margin. So things like this are important, and you can throw this stuff in a oops, sorry. You can throw this stuff in a CRM, which is preferred. I mean, you could throw it in any type of doc. Whatever you're going to refer back to and use the most is perfect. But build a brief persona. You don't need to go crazy. Check out a couple of my market research videos where I go through, selecting high-value clients, how to select them, how to figure out their numbers. It's a very easy process. So, you want to build the persona. And next, once you find out what platforms they frequent, you want to select the preferred platform for communication. Okay, so I'm not going to contact Roofer Joe on LinkedIn. He probably doesn't have a LinkedIn profile, unless Roofer Joe was a national, an owner of a national roofing chain or huge roofing directory site or something like that, but just average roofer Joe that lives in, Philadelphia, PA, most likely doesn't have a LinkedIn. If he does, it was made in haste. It's like a cool thing to do to maybe generate him some business, and that's it. He's probably not on his LinkedIn. So why hit him up on LinkedIn? Why waste the energy contacting him there? And maybe he doesn't really use a personal Facebook profile much, but he has a Facebook page that he's an admin of. So you start to think, people on that level, they probably don't have assistants running their social media profiles. A guy with just an average size roofing company, it's most likely going to be self-ran, or his wife will run it, or his brother, who's his partner, is going to run it. Either way, contacting him on that medium it might be a lot better than trying to message his LinkedIn or Facebook profile. So you have to kind of get your platforms broken out, and this is just how you're going to communicate. Are you going to cold call? A lot of people call and try. It's one of the biggest things with cold calling, and I don't want to get too deep into this because it's just a general outreach video rather than a specific cold calling training. So many people complain about gatekeepers. The easiest way to not get a gatekeeper is to not cold call someone's office and try to talk to an assistant and get by them. That's the easiest way. There's a ton of tricks out there where you guys can use to bypass gatekeepers. I prefer selling the gatekeeper. I worked with a cold calling company for quite some time, and We helped them set up the script and strategy where they just sold the gatekeeper. Worked really well. We landed an immense amount of business out of it, so I was happy. But not everyone can sell the gatekeeper. Not every gatekeeper's in a position to be sold. So there's a lot of if you break this out in a SWOT analysis, there's a lot of things that just aren't going for you. So if you're trying to talk to Dr. Dan and he owns a nice size surgical practice, dentist, doesn't matter, and you're cold calling his desk every day, you're wasting a ton of energy. Where could you contact him that would work a lot better? You know, Sending him lump email at least would go directly to him if you use his name. An email to his doctor's email, his specific email, that's going to go through to him. Contacting him on a social media platform, niche forums. Dr. Dan might hang out on one of the dentistry forums, or Roofer Joe might be on the roofer forums. Just niche forums are fantastic, and niche forums are a great place to prospect and start building relations. Conversational tones, start building friendships and relations, and move them farther through your funnel. So, and that's like I said, the entire process of building this blueprint for your outreach done right is just to pick the platforms where you're most likely to get into contact with your prospective client. Okay, so if your clients, you're trying to sell someone that's big into skincare and she has all kinds of advertisement on Pinterest, she's on Pinterest every day pinning stuff, maybe Pinterest would be a great medium to start the connection. Something like that. Meet on their turf, if that makes sense. Meet somewhere they're comfortable, speak their language, which brings me into context dependent linguistics. This is super important, guys. How are you speaking with the prospect? And we went over this briefly. Keep it conversational. No immediate pitch. Speak their language. So, like back to Roofer Joe. It's not, oh, do you want new roof? You want to do new roofing jobs, obviously, and we can send you the leads. Or you can say, hey, we have a bunch of leads coming in on a monthly basis for EPMD roofing and other rubber applications. Are you interested in doing some of that? Or something along the lines of where you can speak their language. If you're cold calling a concrete company, hey, do you want to pour more cement? Of course they do, but there's things there. Those phone calls can be for all kinds of things. They can call to replace cracks in a sidewalk. They don't want those types of calls. Or, on the other hand, hey, would you like to pour more stamped and colored concrete patios this season? That type of language is going to speak directly to them. You're in their realm at that point. You're not just an average sales call. You're not an average marketer. You're not an average goon sending them lump email. Okay, you're speaking their language. You know about their craft, and people are going to treat you differently. It's a fantastic thing, and it definitely works. The context dependent linguistics is going to separate you from the mass marketers every single time, and it doesn't matter it doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you can speak their language, if you know where their profit margins are the best, and my whole sales process actually gets them to tell me the process. It's almost like where we just ask them a lot of questions, we let them talk. People love to talk about themselves and their business. So if there's pieces of the puzzle you're missing, let them tell you. Don't be afraid to extract their pain points and extract what services net them the best profit and stuff like that. But if the more you can speak their language going into this, if you talk like them, type like them, you're going to do really well. And there's people that say, you don't want to look or dress like the guy you're selling. You want to look like someone they respect. I can't even remember who coined that, but it was in some book I read, and they were talking about going in a really sharp suit and looking like a lawyer, and that can have a great effect for positioning, and using a lot of technical jargon can kind of wow people. If they don't understand all of what you're saying, it could be like, wow, this guy must really know what he's talking about, and that can have a nasty reverse effect too. Where they can completely tune out. They think you're just talking BS, or they see you in a nice suit and a nice car, so they automatically think you're more expensive and you're going to charge them more even though you might not do more than your competitors, so that can have a bad effect as well. So I found it was always better to speak their language, be sincere, and just always remember context dependent linguistics. Where are you? Are you in a formal situation? Are you on a social media platform? Are you in a super formal business meeting trying to pitch clients? Did the client call you back and said, "Hey, what's up?" Because that all of those things are gonna that's gonna depend how you speak with your client and how you can reel them in. So super super important, and that doesn't matter if it's an email, lump email, phone call, all of the above. Then once you select, so just to recap, we build our funnel. We have exactly what steps we're going to take to bring them to a sale. Build the trust, bring them to a sale. We created the persona. Okay, so we know what they like, hate, love, whatever. We know where they hang out. We selected the platforms we're going to target them on. Now it's time to create a consistent follow-up schedule. Okay, you're going to map out every interaction with these people from A to Z. And the reason we do this are for a few reasons. First is accountability. If you take a big desk size calendar and you mark all of this stuff down, you can hold yourself accountable. Or maybe you hold yourself accountable better when everything is in Basecamp or Google Docs, Google Calendar, a CRM, doesn't matter. But it creates a sense of accountability where you can make the call, send the letter, write the email, and then cross them off your calendar, mark them off the list, mark them as complete. It's psychology behind that. It's just like Xing things off on the calendar. If you do something for this much every day and you make an X on the calendar, you start creating a chain. It becomes a psychological habit. Okay, you don't want to break that chain. So it's the same type of thing. Use whatever platform that you can get into a habit of using and mark out every single interaction. Okay? And you have to stick with this stuff. So, for instance, I might write on the calendar, today's the 7th. We might start like a cold email with a helpful video. Okay? Well, I'm sorry. This is great. I messed up on my PowerPoint. Apologies. But we might start with like a social media outreach, and this can be something super conversational, just like we spoke about earlier. Something friendly. Okay? Something where we're offering them genuine help or just creating conversation. Okay, we say, hey, I see you guys were featured in this news letter, whatever. Maybe they're on the news, maybe it was a press release, doesn't matter. Hey, I saw you there, that's really cool. Talk more about them, let them talk about them. Then maybe, like I said, you the same time you hit them with an email with a link to a video, like, hey, we spoke a couple hours ago. I noticed, I was checking your site out. I noticed this. Here's some things you can do to improve, and just get the reaction. Okay, you're easing into things, but everything so far has been friendly, genuine, helpful. You're just building this trust. So maybe in 3 days, I'm gonna mark on my calendar. I'm gonna shoot them a direct call, and if they don't answer, I'm gonna leave a voicemail. Or if they do answer, I'm gonna have a very brief message. You have to respect their time. Be prompt. Be professional, prompt, courteous, get to the point. So you say, hey, I chatted with you on social media and then I sent you that video, and I just was curious if you were interested. I have a bunch of other things that might help, if you want to jump on a quick call, whatever, you want to schedule a call for another time, get them to commit to something. If they say, hey, I don't have the time to talk about it right now, say, hey, that's no problem. Do you have any time, this coming Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern? And it just, if they commit to it, it's harder to say no to that, first off, because you have such an agenda. And once they say that, you got a micro commitment out of them, and that's a great start on a sales journey, to get them to micro commit. And maybe you follow up in 4 more days with some type of additional social media outreach, and by this time you might be winning the game. Okay, it just depends. It depends how good of a salesperson you are. It depends how much initial trust you built. It depends on a lot of different factors. But at this point, the direct call might have done it. They might have already had a consultation with you. They might have asked for a proposal, and that's fine. But you still, unless if they didn't sign on the dotted line and send you your money, do some social media outreach. Contact them again. Hey, I see you didn't make this one change. You want me to make it for you quick? I have a few hours free this afternoon. Or, hey, I saw you made that change. Awesome. I'm glad I could help. Something along that line. For the more difficult, maybe you stand out a little bit and you shoot them a piece of lump email. You might send that out on the 15th or the 14th if they don't get back with you. Send them a piece of lump email, follow up with another direct call. Now this might seem excessive, but it's actually not. Okay, this is an intelligent process. This is an intelligent outreach process. Okay, you're not going to make one phone call and close any business. You're not going to make two phone calls and close any business. Sometimes you will, but statistically, more times than not, it's just not going to happen. Okay, so when you break this out like this is the type of process that's going to get you results. Okay, this type of follow up, and even after you send out proposals, you should have an outreach. Not really an outreach at that point. It's just more follow up in general. But this is the same type of thing. We had a really big client on the hook maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago. It took us a month and a half to close him after he said yes to the proposal. It took a month and a half of follow ups and working with him. Now he's a happy client. But the biggest thing, you know, the biggest thing with client acquisition is people think it's a one trick pony. They pick up the phone and they should start getting clients, or they send a bunch of emails, and that's one of the biggest things I see from my fellow marketers is they say, oh well, we sent out 100 emails, or we made 100 cold calls, or we spent $100 in Facebook ads, and it's so much more than that, guys. It's so much more than just those single interactions. It's a lot more of a process. So no matter what you choose to do, just map it out exactly like this and follow up. So just super quick recap. I had you guys on way longer than I wanted to. I wanted to try to keep this video short, and I failed once again. But if you look back through it, you're gonna select some people in an industry. You're gonna do your market research first. You're gonna build your funnel. You're gonna do your market research. Who is gonna be worth pursuing? Because you're not gonna pursue a $250 a month client with this type of process. Okay, these are the type of clients you're going after that could be $2, $5, $10, $20,000 a month clients and bigger. You should never limit yourself. But these type of people, I can't think of who it was off the top of my head, but they chased a client for 10 years. I'm trying to think who that was. They chased a client for 10 years, and Chet Holmes. Chet Holmes. Chet Holmes chased Tony Robbins for 10 years before they did business. Now, that's more persistence than I would have, and it's probably more than most of you guys would have. But that just shows you the persistence and the energy well spent will garner you impressive results. So that's it. You select who you're targeting, you do your market research, you're selecting who's going to give you the best bang for your energy. It's ROE, the return on your energy. Okay? You build the persona. You through doing that, you figure out which platforms they're on. You keep you keep in mind when you're contacting them how you're going to speak to them. It's the context dependent linguistics, and after that it's actually building the schedule and following through. You have to hold yourself accountable, and you just have to go through with this, and you're going to land clients from it, guaranteed. So thanks a lot for watching, guys.